that thought. We become warriors and we lose the gentle hearts. So I forgot to stop that part there.
Here are amazing listeners, and welcome to another insightful episode of Uniquely You. And I'm your host, Sharice, and with us we have no other than the fantastic Shakira.
Hey.
How are you doing today, Shakira?
I'm doing fine. A bit tired, but I'm okay.
She's good. And today we have an interesting topic to talk about. And with this topic, you have to be intentional.
It's a very intentional thing.
Like, you can't just get up and say, I go.
It's hard too sometimes.
You have to think about it. You have to take a deep breath, sigh, and be like, I'm gonna do this. Do you want to tell them what the topic is today?
Our topic for today is Today I Will Forgive.
You heard that? Today I will forgive.
Forgiveness can be very hard sometimes.
Most times.
I wouldn't say most, but some. Because it all depends on what it is that the person did. Because you have some persons that will step on your toe and them say sorry. You forgive them because you see that it was an accident.
Okay.
But then you have some persons who are very intentional.
Yes.
Let them decide, say, I'm gonna bring you down. So them try. They tried and them almost get it. They almost their plan almost came through. But then almost doesn't come.
Doesn't.
And then worse if it's somebody that was close to you. You never did expect it.
No.
So now we are left to think, why should I even forgive this person?
Yep.
But before we go into it, I just want you to remember that forgiveness is not for the other person.
It's for you.
It's for you. Sharice, forgiveness is for you.
Yeah, it is.
Forgiveness is for me. Like, it makes no sense to hold on to something that is hurting you. It's just like holding on onto a knife blade.
Mm-hmm.
And the tighter you hold on to it, is the deeper it is getting into you.
Yeah.
It is cutting into your skin. But because you are hell-bent that when a person here do me me can't forget this.
Yep.
You're just not going to forgive them, and then what happens is you build up this hatred in your heart. Everything the person do, you start resent them. Just
Everything.
even seeing them becomes a problem. And the truth is, the person move on with their life.
Sometime.
The person forget, say them they do you something, and you sit down when
With
them
it.
walk past, you skin up your face, and your heart start hurt you because you have so much anger inside, and you don't even realize what it is you're doing to yourself.
You're nursing the hurt.
You're nursing the hurt. Listen, it makes no sense. So I know sometimes forgiveness can be very hard.
Yeah.
But I want you to remember that it is for you. It's not for the other person. It's for you.
And with that being said, forgiveness is such a powerful, transformative journey. Like, it takes the weight off. It releases you. It makes you feel so much better once you have forgiven that person or those persons who've hurt you. Sometimes it's more than one. But in talking about forgiveness, we're going to use the analogy of milk. It's different, but we're going to use milk. There are different variations of milk. You have the whole milk, the oats milk, the goat milk, the soy milk, the different types of milk. And with that, you have the different types of hurt.
Yep.
You have the family hurt,
The church hurt.
church hurt, the work hurt, you know, different types of hurt. And just how we can find the right milk. Forgiveness will ease the hurt. It will help.
Not immediately.
It takes time.
It's a process. So today you feel like I'm gonna start the journey today. And you start off on a good path. But along the way you remember.
Yeah.
You remember, it's like it dawned on you again. So you know, say this, that person you do to me, and you get angry. And with that, you just have to start over. So sometimes you find yourself starting over 3, 4, 5, 10 times, but never stop. You mentioned something about the milk analogy.
Right.
And the different flavors of the milk, the different flavors that the milk comes in. And it's the same for the hurt.
Yeah.
You have the family hurt,
Friend hurt.
the friend hurt, the partner hurt,
Work.
the church hurt,
Yep.
the work hurt. And I was about to say the family and the partner hurt are the worst, but when you think about it, all of them bad.
All of them. Yeah.
Every single, because can you imagine you're in a church
Yeah.
and these are supposed to be Christians, and remember the Bible says we all sin,
Yep.
but you have some persons who make it look like some sin bigger than
Bigger
some,
than others.
and the truth is they all spell S-I-N.
Mm-hmm.
And because I did something that you can't see, you can't understand. Oh, God, I gonna forgive me for this. You know, take it upon yourself and I gonna help God.
Yeah. Start judge.
You gonna help God, and you start to pass all sorts of remarks,
Yep.
and you say the most. And I'm there and I'm thinking, what example are you setting? And then the work, this is your work family. You have to come here so every day. Like, how can I forgive you if you did this to me? I have to see you. So whether or not I want to talk to you, I still have to see
Yep.
you. The partner, the family hurts. So after you leave work, you had a good day, and then you reach home to your partner or your family, you remember what them did to you. Mighty God of Daniel.
What a day. And your home is meant to be peaceful. You got to go back to that.
So you see why it is important to forgive. Like, communication is very important, and respectfully at that. So if it is, you decide, say, whatever this person do, I choose not to forgive them, then it's either you're gonna leave the church, if a church it come from, you're gonna leave the work, you're gonna leave your partner, you're gonna take yourself away.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, that doesn't solve the problem. Running from the problem doesn't solve the problem, because what if it is that it's something you did that triggered that person to do what it is that they did? You're gonna find a repeat of it happening when you go into a new environment. But can we bring this analogy to life?
Sure.
We have some real life examples. I do believe
I think we do.
we
but,
have some.
But before we do that, can I talk about the trigger?
Mhm.
Some things triggers us because of past experience. And because of that, it's like having a cut and I squeeze your hand and the cut opens back. No, I did not intentionally to hurt you like that. But because of your past experience, I just came and triggered something that brought you back to where you were.
True.
That sometimes that in our lives we have to, while we're forgiving, we also have to be aware that some things come as a trigger that will cause us to feel hurt again. If you understand what I mean. So it's just like, for instance, okay, I'm allergic to milk, but guess what? I love lasagna. And no matter what the side effects of milk does to me when I have lasagna,
I'm gonna have it still.
I'm gonna have lasagna anyway and have to, either hit the bathroom or take some medication or something, knowing that milk has that effect on me. And the same thing sometimes with a trigger. We know that we're not fully healed or forgiven the person, but we still.
Can I say something though? Sometimes we're talking about forgiving the person when the person can be mean.
Tell me about it.
A lot of times we have done things, and I can speak from experience here, and I beat down on myself. Sherry is like, yeah, idiot, or you have to do that.
Yes.
So if we can't forgive ourselves, how is it that we're gonna forgive somebody?
Yep.
And then not forgiving yourself, starting to think that the world is against you. You are the victim here, and everybody else are coming at you. When the truth is, you need to fix up yourself. You need to forgive yourself. You need to start view life from a different perspective. Like, I'm not even going to pretty it up. Like, a lot of us are walking around with hurt that we caused to ourselves. We do it. We know that if we walk go down there, so something in the road and we go buck with two.
And we still do it.
And we keep doing it over and over and over. And it just don't make no sense. Like, why do we continuously do the same thing expecting a different result? Like, make it make sense now. We could just drop that and do the right thing. So we're gonna share examples. So I had a close friend who betrayed my trust, and it took a lot to forgive and move forward. But once I did, I felt a weight lifted off my shoulder, and it opened the door to personal growth and healing. Like, guys, I've been on this journey, and I must say I've lost a lot of friends, and I'm fine. I am fine. Like, some days it feel weird, but the truth is I'm fine because I've elevated my circle, and I'll never ever speak down to anyone, because who am I?
Right.
And elevating our circle, like we spoke about this in our last episode, it's not about me being better than the other person. It's just that I don't serve you and you don't serve me anymore. So this is where we respectfully part ways, and that is fine. That is fine.
And that's a powerful testimony. Forgiveness can release us from the burdens of our past. It can also help us to elevate and not harbor or nurse the hurt. But just like how we have the different side effects or the different variations of milk, the same thing that comes with forgiveness. And we have to be open to forgiveness, just like how we're open to, I don't have dairy milk, so I try soy milk. What's your take on that?
And that I agree with that, because then now we have to forgive, hoping to the same grace that we would want to be extended to us, we ought to extend it to others. Because the truth is, I've done bad. I've done bad. And sometimes, how do I put it? Sometimes It's not intentional. Sometimes it might be, but it being intentional, it was not meant to hurt you the way it did.
Right.
And sometimes I'm extremely sorry. To be honest, sometimes I'm not. But for whenever it is that I'm extremely sorry, I would want to be forgiven.
Yeah.
So if I want that grace to be extended to me, why can't I extend it to somebody else? And it's an interesting paradox, Charisse.
Yeah.
We often explore alternatives to find what works for us. Yet, forgiveness is sometimes overlooked. I believe it's because forgiveness requires us to come out of our comfort zone.
Yep. Be vulnerable.
To confront pain and vulnerability, but just like fighting the right milk. Not fighting, finding
the right milk.
Finding the right way to forgive. Sorry, my throat I get dry, but finding the right way to forgive can lead to a transformative experience.
And I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Um, and forgiveness, how do you think that we can make forgiveness more accessible? Like, how can we practice this in our day to day lives? Like, for me, self forgiveness, instead of, like you said, speaking harshly to yourself, I have decided not to talk so harsh to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Give myself a bit of grace. Okay, you messed up, you're human. It's okay. Dust yourself and move on. But how else can we forgive as we go along in our daily lives? Like, what advice would you give?
Okay, so firstly, acknowledge the hurt and its impact.
Definitely.
Understand that forgiveness is not about condoning actions, but about freeing yourselves from the weight of resentment.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, practice self compassion. Understand that you deserve peace and healing.
Yeah.
And finally, seek the support. Sometimes we really want to forgive, but we don't know how to.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody who they might can't relate to your situation, but they might have an idea of something that you can do that might help.
Right.
Because the truth is, it sounds very simple, like we are talking about forgiveness easy, but sometimes it is way deeper than we think. It is way deeper than we think.
And I totally agree, because I think forgiveness, when we get to that level where the person who caused us hurt, we can see them and don't feel no way. We can hear their name and their voice and don't feel any way. And it takes work. It takes work, because there's some persons who have hurt me in the past. And Shakira, the name of the person gets me angry. And it took work, like months and years of work, for me to get to the point now where I can hear the name or I can see the person and not feel away. So sometimes it's not an overnight thing. It's not going to happen overnight. And we might need, you know, spiritual guidance. We might need to see a therapist. We might need various ways. There are even books on forgiveness that we could read, that could help us on our journey for forgiving.
And you said about therapy, and in my head, I don't know, I feel like me hear somebody say therapy, but not go so far. But the truth is, just like a mental illness, just like a cut that a band-aid can't repair, sometimes we're so far gone off path, we don't understand how deep it is that we are and we need help.
We do.
We need a specialist in this area. We need a counselor.
Yep.
Somebody, because as Sherry said in earlier, sometimes we have been through some stuff in our past that it caused us to be very bitter and angry. So when people do things, we just all it in ourselves and we put it on our head, and before you know it, we're gone too deep, and we need a doctor to help us. We need a doctor to help us.
And with that being said, we're going to do a call for action before we wrap up. And we're challenging our listeners to get help if you need help. Like as Shakira said, you are the one that's hurting. The person who hurt you, move on already. They even probably, depending on the relationship that you have with the person probably don't even know that you exist.
They move on with them. I've seen it so very often.
Happily moved on, and you're there nursing this hurt, and not being able to forgive. So our call to action would be
to challenge you. We're challenging you to take step forwards. Forgive. It's a journey that may be tough, but it is rewarding. The reward is very incredible. Remember, just like finding the right milk, forgiveness can lead to a happier and more fulfilling life.
No, we're not getting any paid ads for promoting milk. But you understand that, finding the right milk, is for all those who are lactose and all of that, milk, finding the right milk helps. Just like forgiveness. Finding the right strategy in how to forgive, it helps. And thank you for joining us on our episode this week for Today I Will Forgive. And we're encouraging you to go out there, forgive others, but first and foremost, forgive yourself. Do a self-check. How have you hurt yourself lately? And I think we should I'm going to put Shakira on this one, to personalize down forgiving ourselves in an episode all by itself. Because I think we need to talk about some of the hurt that we cause ourselves. Because sometimes the way how we hurt ourselves, if we hurt others like that, we're their person. No question asked.
And I have a task for our listeners today, Cherise. I want you to, because sometimes we have so much people we have up in our little heart. There are so many persons who have harmed us, and yes, I understand it hurt, I understand say it hot, but I challenge you, get a paper and write down them names. Writing helps. So you're gonna write their names down. If you can remember that exact thing that they did, you're going to write it as well. And one by one, it might take some time, but if you start now, you will get somewhere. So you're gonna write their names down, and if you need for prayer, if you believe in a prayer, I do. But if it is that you believe in prayer, you're gonna pray about it. And if it is that you don't believe in prayer, find a way that you think will work and do it. Like this is healing. We need to heal. Like there are so many hurting people out there, and hurt people hurt people.
I was just about to say that.
And because I'm hurting,
I'm gonna hurt you.
I'm gonna hurt you, and it's not intentional. So I'm hurting you and it's not intentional. It's just because of how I'm feeling. And
Yep.
because I'm feeling this way, I'ma just do
Throw
whatever.
it at you.
And then before you know it, we have a world full of hurting people. So join us on this healing journey. Like, yes, the topic is I will forgive, but through forgiveness it brings healing. So join us on this path to healing, and let's start our healing by forgiving. And if you are the one that you need to forgive, put your name at the top of the list.
Yep.
Put it in all caps. Highlight it with one different color. Put it in a bowls. Everything.
Yep.
Because if you don't deal with you can't
can't
deal
deal.
with nobody else. So that's it for me for today. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No.
But if you leave me, I will talk and talk and talk.
I think that's it. So we did our call for action. Get your piece of paper. Write your name first.
If it is that you need to
If
forgive
it's that, you need to forgive yourself. And then write down those who have hurt you. Pray about it. If you don't believe in prayer, find something that works for you. And join us on our healing journey. So I want to thank you for joining us today.
before you close off, and it requires self-introspect. So I don't want you to just get a paper and say, yeah man, Cherise did hurt me. And you did hurt me and you did hurt me. The truth is sometimes nobody did us any harm. No one did us any harm, but because of our mindset, we think about it as a hurt. So I want you to sit down and think about it. Don't just get up and just write names. If it is that you know that them hurt you and you know say that she do this, you can write it down. But think about the situations. And then after thinking about it deeply, then you can decide to write down the names. And yes.
So you know what that means? They're going to have to take some time with themselves.
Yup.
You're going to have to take time by yourself to do this. And I believe once you take the time out, you will get the results needed. So think about the hurt, identify the hurt. And sometimes we have triggers, where we act out of because something happened. Sometimes you take a step back and think about, why am I acting this way? Why is this my reaction to a particular thing? Could it be a hurt that you've experienced that you've been trying to bury? And you've been trying to bury it for some time. It could lead to childhood. It could lead to, something that you're, at the time you were unaware of. But spending time by yourself, you will uncover. So that's our call to action for you this week. Look after yourselves. Remember that we're going to forgive. Remember that you are unique and you deserve forgiveness, and so does the other person. Alright, so we're going to be intentional about it, and we see you on our next episode of Uniquely You.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.